According to him, God said to build a boat. Did it rain where he lived? Not really, but that didn't seem to matter. He had an experience so vivid, so real, that he didn't care what others were going to say. He was going to do it. Not only did he claim that God told him to build a boat, but he also said why God told him to do it. God decided to make an end of all life on earth. That's pretty heavy. And pretty crazy if you listen to him tell you this over a cup of coffee. Noah. He's a Bible story champion, a crowd favorite, a kid favorite. He walked with God, just like Enoch. But he didn't get swept up into heaven without dying. Sorry, Noah. You're apparently not that cool to walk with. He was said to be a righteous man and blameless in his generation. He stood out in the midst of the major evil of his time. On top of that, he found favor in the eyes of God. So much so that he became the man for the job of hitting the reset button for all the living beings of this world. Can you imagine walking with God, down the road or something, and he mentions his plan of pressing reset and getting rid of all of humanity and all the animals? Can you imagine walking with God and being told that you're supposed to build a boat so massive that it will house every species of existence? Yeah, no problem, Lord. I'll get right on that. Not your reaction, right? It seems to be Noah's. Noah did this. He did all that God commanded him. Genesis 6:22. Have you started thinking it too? Noah, you're perfect, man. Thanks for making me look bad. Up to this point, it seems as though Noah is a model God follower. He always does what he is told, and he seems to respond to his life mission with little or no apprehension. Maybe he liked to build stuff. God floods the earth. Noah, his family, and a male and female of every animal are on board the boat, floating to wherever the waves take them. They are part of the new world. They are what's left over after God's reset. Imagine the purpose they must have felt. Imagine the fear they must have felt. They better get this new world off to a God-honoring start, eh? Maybe they felt the pressure. They probably didn't need to, though. After all, they were still around because they were the ones who were honoring him in the first place. That's how bad things got. One extended family. That's it. God makes a covenant with all of mankind that he wouldn't flood the earth again. Enter the colorful sign, a rainbow. Much better than an energizing conference, they had received a second chance at life. They were on a spiritual high. What was next for them? And God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth." Genesis 9:1. They had to have lots of babies. The men rejoiced. I love this job. Eventually, Noah had to come down from his mountaintop experience. And come down he did. It went like this. He drank of the wine and became drunk and lay uncovered in his tent. Genesis 9:21. Noah had too much to drink, went to bed naked, and this resulted in something that caused him to curse his son and grandson. Here's what transpired as Noah is laying naked, drunk, and asleep. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brothers outside. Genesis 9:22. Now at first glance, this seems like just an awkward moment for Ham, one of Noah's sons. But looking into the language a bit more of the phrase, saw the nakedness, seems to point to, especially in other places where it's used, some kind of sexual act, either by Ham to his father or to his mother. Gross. Whatever happened, and I know, too much information, right? It was enough for Noah to curse his grandson and son. It would be safe to assume that the family dinners weren't quite the same after this fiasco. Oh, how fast we humans can fall from the mountaintop. Now, the specifics of Noah's story would be quite hard to resonate with, but the very idea of having a spiritual high and then experiencing something suddenly low is quite common. You've been there, right? You have some kind of victory, some kind of great news, some kind of praise to bring to God, and then it happens. You get too close to the edge of the peak and you tumble down. Every rock on the way down blesses you with its hardness. Every thorn pierces your skin. As you tumble down the valley, you begin to wonder if you will survive the fall. How did this happen? Why is this happening? The questions overwhelm your mind while the violence of your life overwhelms your body and soul. and then you land in the valley. It's a familiar place. You know it well. But the thing about this familiar place is that it doesn't breed comfort or peace or joy. It tests you. It makes you think that there's no hope of getting back to the mountaintop. It punishes your will. You're discouraged, you're frustrated, you're confused. Much of life is spent dwelling in the valley of life. Ups and downs, twists and turns, they are abundant. But there is hope. No matter how low you go, the awesome God we worship is willing to stoop down, to lift you up, and join you in the midst of life. He pursues you in the lowness that you dwell in. And the great thing about being pursued by God is the fact that He has the power to rescue you. However high your mountaintop experiences have been, and however low your valley experiences have been, neither are too far for God to enter into your life and give you true peace. Noah was a righteous man in the midst of an evil world. His life got messy at times. But what we see from his life is that no matter the mountaintop or the valley, he lived for God. He brought his mess to his perfect God. And you can do the same.